Hi and welcome everybody. This is a fantastic acrylic painting that we will be making today, which is a red cardinal on an adorable snowy fence. My name is Shannon Chiba. I'm an Artworks board member and local artist here in Westfield. Today we're painting this painting in celebration of Decemberfest, which is my favorite time of the year. I love the holiday season. So let's get into the spirit and have a great time painting. Are you ready? I am. Okay, so here we have a plain canvas, and the canvas here needs a little bit of water. So at home, if you have some brushes, and you'll need a few colors of acrylic paint. Now I work with a limited palette, which means I only use the primary colors. And I don't know if you can see that too well, but we have red, yellow, blue. I added a little bit of brown in there and some white, okay? So that's all you need to create all the colors that we'll be painting with today. We're making this gorgeous, wait until you see this, you're gonna love it. Okay, so what we're gonna do first is we're going to wet our canvas down. So you wanna have a variety of brushes. We'll start with the large brush. And what we'll need to do is we'll take our water and we will just saturate this canvas here. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna use that water, paint that canvas back and forth. All right, you wanna make sure that you don't have any drips coming down, because drips are no bueno. You do not want the drips, okay? If you start to have any drips, you want to grab them with your brush and just sort of pick them up and spread that water all around. And the whole canvas will need to be saturated with a little bit of water. What this is going to do for our beautiful sky is it's going to make it nice and transparent with some pretty purples and a beautiful, just beautiful sky. You guys are going to love this. Wait until you see. All right, so once you have this whole thing painted, okay, excuse me, with your water, paint's not on it yet, you want to add your acrylic paint. Now, in order to make a pretty purple, you want to start with your red and add just a little bit of your blue. And what this does is it creates a really luscious, beautiful purple for the middle of the sky, all right? So I'm gonna step in front here. I'm just gonna add some pretty purples, and I'm just carrying my brush back and forth and having fun with it, all right? Just like so. Some dark colors, and you'll see as you move your brush back and forth, it sort of melds in with some of that water there, and it starts to get nice and transparent on us, okay? I'm going to wash my brush off, stand in front of the painting for a second. Always wash your brush off and dab it on the paper towel to get your brush nice and clean, okay? And if you need some more water to make it transparent and a little bit more flowy there, look at that, isn't that beautiful? You just want to create these beautiful sky-like colors that move across. Get nice and loose, you know, get in the holiday spirit. Dance a little bit, make it nice and fun, okay? And then what we're going to do is we are going to add a little bit of brown. Brown is made with blue and green, excuse me, red and green, not blue and green, and a little bit of some fun mixed in. So this is what you do. So if you want to make brown at home with your primary colors, it's green and red, excuse me. And then green and red makes a beautiful brown. Mixing that fun as appropriate. All right, so red and green make this beautiful brown. Add a little bit more red to that. And you see you have some beautiful browns. And do you see how this water starts to saturate the canvas? It starts to pull down and make it nice and blurry. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of water and make the rest of the canvas nice and blurry. Water there. Some of your other colors might start to come down, but just have fun with it. Just embrace it. Because we're going to be adding some beautiful snow colors right on top of it. Okay. All right. Keep building it all the way down to the bottom of the canvas. Add more and more water as you see fit, okay? So you can add more water up here. Bring it down. And you see it all starts to blur together and look so beautiful. Right. So you can see how those sky colors are just starting to melt here. Keep moving your brush back and forth so that it saturates in there nice and well. Now if you want, you can go right around the edge of your canvas here. These are the lips of the canvas. You want to get a little bit of that paint on there. Just so that when you hang it on the wall, and you will hang it on the wall, right? Hang these on the wall, you can give them to friends. This is 16 by 20, by the way. It's great for an entryway. You want to give it just a little bit of color. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to exactly match. But what you want to do is just cover that bright white edge on the top, sides, and bottom. Dance around, guys. I'm going to be dancing right in front of the canvas from time to time. Just a little bit of color here and there. All the way down. When it dries, you can do the very bottom of the canvas here. You can lift it up when it's dry, and you can get that part. Okay? Now, if you want these drippy marks that come down, leave them. If you don't, go ahead and blur them out. So once again, this is purple at the top, lots of water, a little bit of brown in the middle. Okay? And just moving your brush back and forth. All right, great. So I'm really happy with this. And so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to make this gorgeous branch that comes right around the front here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop my palette down, and I'm going to grab my next brush, which is a medium brush. All right. So this medium brush has a little bit of a square head, but anything that you have that might be round or square is totally fine. And what you want is like a really dark brown. So once again, you want that red and a little bit of that green, and mix it around really, really well. Red and green. And it makes a really super dark brown. It's almost like a dark sienna. Okay? Like on this side here. You don't want any water in the mix. You want it to be nice and thick. And what we're going to do is we're going to work from one side of the canvas to the other, and we're going to push, and we're going to create an awesome branch right here, nice and thick with the paint. If it's not dark enough, you can add a little hint of blue just to darken it up. Now you just shake your brush back and forth as you go across. Just want a dark hue here. Bring it right on across. There we go. Alright, see how this branch, as I'm shaking my brush a little bit, it's nice. It's got lots of like little bits of bark that are coming up. So whenever you make branches, you want to start with just like kind of like a wiggly arm. And then from that wiggly arm, what you want to do is you want to pull tiny little Y shapes away from it. You always want to work thick to thin. And whenever you make these little bumps, you see the little bumps and ridges, you can pull a little branch out. Get nice and fun with it. Your branches can go any way. There is no right or wrong. And yes, this is a happy tree. Right on up. Tiny, tiny little ones from the thicker ones. You know, just have fun. And you know, so you want to match the shape of your brush to the element that you're painting. So if you have a larger element here, like we do here, what you want to do is rock that out, and then you use your tiny brush. I'm going to grab a tiny brush to get in there with the smaller branches. So here I go with really, really dark color now. It could even be black. And you want to grab and pull off of each one of these little branches a small, tiny branch. You always work thick to thin, so there's a thicker branch going out this way. It's always thicker as it goes back to the trunk. You start to add these cute little branches that come out like this. Really, really soft touch. You don't want to push too hard, because if you push too hard, what ends up happening is it gets really, really thick, and we want these to be nice and soft and thin. Sometimes they can overlap. This. Add a little bit more red back to my brown to make it look a little darker. Okay? Some of them can, you know, overlay. What's so fun about painting things that are natural is you can just really just, you know, there's no right or wrong. You get in there with all your beautiful branches. Maybe a few down here. As long as you remember that those two elements of the recipe there, thick to thin, thickest part by the trunk, and always making Y shapes and thinner as you come out, you are in business. You can make this branch scene and this cardinal scene that we're going to make throughout the year. You can add flowers to these branches, anything. Now up top, maybe there's another branch that just sort of goes above it. And maybe there's another one, if you want to get fancy, you can pull another one in front of it too, okay? So, you know, you can see how you just have fun with it. You enjoy yourself, maybe play some holiday music as you're painting this. You know, that's super fun. So I love this. I love this beautiful branches that I have going on here. And the next thing that I want to do is to create this awesome, you know, fence that's going down here, and I'm going to make that with my brown and the large brush. So I'm going to take my baby brush here, I'm going to give it a little bath here in the water, and I'm going to grab my large brush and I am going to make my fence. Now when I make my fence, what you want to do is you want to grab that dark brown that we had earlier, which is red and green now, so red, blue, and yellow, really all your primaries. Get it nice and dark in there. That gorgeous dark color, look at that. If you want to lighten it up, you can add a little bit of yellow if you like. You want it nice and dark, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create my fence posts. So what you want to do is you go over here and you just sort of pull. You pull downwards. And you create these long posts here in one full sweep down. A little on the green scale there. Nice and soft as you go down. Maybe there's one here. And another one there. They don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be in line. We're going to cover them with some snow. We're going to add our cute little cardinal. Just make sure you have enough of that brown in there. All right, it'll start to mix a little bit with your colors in the background. That's totally fine. It's good to have a variety of colors in there. Okay. It doesn't have to be completely flat all the way across. You can make some that are a little wonky and go to the side if you like. Good. Maybe one last one right here. Brown color. Starts to look, it's very dark right now, but when we add the snow, it's really going to be awesome. All right. A little bit more of that brown just to cover up your areas. Once again, if you want to lighten up your brown, it's like a little bit more red and a little bit more yellow into your mix. So if it's too dark for you, a little bit more like orange in your mix, red and yellow. You can overlay it a little bit, give it some dimension, make it look like wood. Awesome. And now we're gonna add our snow, which is my favorite part. But before you put your brush back or you clean it off, you know, you got to grab your paper towel and very, very gently you take that paper towel and you pull that extra paint off. So that's mostly clean. And you give it a little bath in your water. You can tap it off on your paper towel again, and then look, we're clean, we're ready to go. I want to separate my bristles a little bit, and I'm going to go into that white, and I am going to very, very softly, with a lot of paint on that brush, pull it down really, really gently like this. Pop that snow right on the top of the fence. Look at that, isn't that luscious? It's gorgeous. And then you pull that snow down really, really softly, right on that board like that. Okay? Make sure you see the separation in the boards. Very, very softly you come down. Leave that brighter or darker, excuse me, shadow right at the edge of your board. Very, very soft. A lot of paint, glob it on there, and pull it straight down. There we go. Down, a little bit of paint there. Gorgeous. Now you can lift some of it up if you like from the bottom. You create a little bit more snow there on the side. And then you can go over here to your branches and you can start to add snow right up here as well. If you start to carry some of your paint and your paint is saturating and getting into your white snow, what you have to do is you have to wipe your brush off so that you have fresh paint. And what we're doing here is we're just tapping and dabbing the top of our branches, getting that snow in there. Just having fun with it because, you know, nature doesn't follow any rules. It's just, you know, the snow is just going to go this way and that way. Just have some fun there on top of the branches. Okay. If you want to, you can angle your brush vertically, not horizontally, and you can make some icicles just by tapping and dabbing and bringing it down. That's super fun. I'm going rogue here. Definitely going rogue and adding some, the painting spoke to me and it said it wanted some icicles, so I listened. Gorgeous, isn't that cool? I love it. Okay. Now the next thing I'm going to show you how to do, and this depends on your comfort level here, okay? What you're going to want to do is you take that white, get most of it off. You only want a little bit of it on there, and this, you're going to get messy. You're going to get totally messy here. You're going to hold this brush nice and close to your painting, and you're going to flick. You're going to add snow all over your painting, okay? You got to hold it really close to your painting though, because you don't want to send paint a-flying everywhere, all over your house, all over your outfit. By the way, I'm not wearing an apron, but I'll tell you what, I'm just confident. I totally suggest you wear an apron when you do this. Okay, all right, so that's pretty cool, right? You like that? All right, a little bit more here, okay, and then we have a beautiful snowy scene. Oh, don't you love it? Okay, cool. All right, so now the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna add our cardinal. Now, the cardinal's pretty easy. By the way, if you have any mistakes, you can use your paper towel and just dab it or wipe it off with a paper towel, okay? The cardinal's pretty easy, but I use just large shapes to make my cardinal. And you want some solid red, so make sure you have a clean brush and a solid red. I'm gonna use a round brush for this, okay? But really any brush will do. And solid red, okay? Now to make our cardinals nice and big and fat and fluffy on the bottom, so I'm gonna take this red, okay? And I'm going to make a circle as big as I want his belly to be, okay? So I'm thinking here, I like this spot right in between these two parts of the fence. I'm gonna make my circle, and I'm gonna paint the whole thing in with this red. Because this painting is wet on wet, some of these colors in the back will start to meld with your red. Embrace it, have fun with it. You have an option to let it dry and come back with your solid red, but I like it when we have just a variety of colors in our painting. It makes it way more dynamic, way more gorgeous, okay? All right, so you start with your circle. I'm gonna have you making cardinals everywhere. Watch this. So you start with your circle, paint it in nice and thick, and then you pull that tail just down a little bit, almost like it's a teardrop, okay? That tail might come, maybe a little bit of it might be in between that fence post there, okay? Wherever, just imagine it's going down, and just carry this, almost looks like a teardrop, okay? Coming right down. Then for the head, what you want to do is you want to make a diagonal line, okay? Right about there, right over it. You see that? It's like a diagonal. Just a diagonal line, okay? And then pull the edges of your diagonal straight down. Okay, so that's the head of our cardinal. Can you see it coming together? Isn't it gorgeous? All right. Nice and thick with that color now, because what happens with acrylic paint is it darkens up, and sometimes it's a little transparent, so you have to add multiple layers. I like to go nice and thick with my paint. It's liquid plastic, and it will dry with this texture in it that's really pops out, almost like an oil painting, okay? All right, so that's the start of our cardinal. Now the next part that we have to work on is a little bit of black, and I'll show you how to make it. You have to take your brush now, remember the method as before, pull some of that extra paint right off there on the tip, and give it a little bath in your water. Try to keep your space in your studio clean as you're working. Sometimes it can be hard, but it's really important. And then we'll be using our tiny brush here. All right. Now to make black, what you want to do is you want to add, let me fix my microphone here. Oh geez. Okay, you want to add your red and blue together to make like a really dark grape color. Really dark grape. Just swirl it around, and that's already almost black. Purple is really close on the black scale. So you see that? That's really, really dark right there. I don't think you have to add much more to that. It's just more blue in your red ratio. If your red is more on the orange scale or a warmer red, it may not come out this dark, but give it a try. Now, if that is not dark enough for you, and this is going to sound crazy, add a little bit of that yellow and swirl it around. Yellow, red, and blue. Swirl it around. Remember how we made that black before? Excuse me, that brown before? Just a little bit of that yellow just darkens it up a lot. Alright, so I'm going to swirl it around. To me, this looks pretty dark. Of course, you could just use regular black, but you know, if you're working with a limited palette and you don't have many colors at home, this is a great option. All right, so on the inside of our cute little cardinal's beak here, what we're going to do is we are going to just come right down the center here. You see the center of this little guy's face? Make a little bit of a line, and we're going to make a diamond, or the side of a diamond, or a little triangle here. Very, very soft touch. Use a lot of paint. Okay, a lot of paint there. Just a little triangle. The diamond part will come in when we add the beak, but just a triangle right here. And then underneath for the chin, just a little bit more of that black, okay? So it's like a little triangle that comes down, but then it also goes down the side, the face a little bit. So it's like a little beard, a little birdie beard, okay? All right, now we're gonna wash this brush off again, and we're gonna get into our gorgeous orange. All right. All right, so paper towels here. Wash that brush off really well. Come back to your paper towel really gently. And you know, my palette is a mess. It's a total mess. It's like a Van Gogh mess, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna find just a tiny bit of clean red and clean yellow and swirl it together to create an orange. The more yellow you add to your orange mix, the more like, you know, sherbet, soft orange it is, and the more red, the more carrot. So, you know, just mix up the orange that you like. Add a little bit more red to my mix here. And I have a pretty orange going on right here. And I want a lot on my brush tip. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to create a cute little beak right in the center. Opposite, see that little end here to your triangle? You just want to go opposite that and build that diamond like I mentioned before. But go really, really soft. Go really, really soft and don't push on your brush. A lot of paint now. Glob it in there. And you can create your cute little beak. Isn't that cute? Oh my gosh, it's adorable. But our cardinal needs a little bit more shadows in there, a little bit more black before we can call him done. So I'm going to keep the orange on my brush and I'm just going to go into the black because the black will obscure all that color. So that luscious black that I created. And I'm going to invent the bottom edge of his wing. So I'm going to come right under here. And just start to swoop in some feathers. Isn't that adorable? Look at that. And a few right on the back of his head. So what we're doing is we're giving a little bit of a shadow to the areas where there's no sunlight hitting. Okay. And we're making him a little bit more apparent, making him pop out with some contrast. So I go a little bit under his belly here, sort of mimicking his wing. Maybe a few down here because there's less light, right? There's less light over by his tail, okay? And he is adorable. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add snow. We're gonna make it snow, and we're just about done after we make it snow, but I'm gonna show you some different ways of making snow. Always have to start with a clean brush. All right, so make sure as you're working with your brushes here that they're clean. Sometimes that happens. All right. Hey, you know what? If the head of your brush ever falls off, what you have to do is you have to grab a pair of pliers and give it a little squeeze. All right, so you got a few options here to make this gorgeous cardinal pop. All right. What you want to do, you can take any brush that you like, anyone you're comfortable with, and we are going to actually go around our cardinal with some snow. This is going to create contrast and really make it pop. When you get nice and close to your cardinal, push on your brush a little bit to create an edge, okay? Go around your cardinal. You don't want a ton of paint on there. I may have put a little bit too much, but it's all right. And you're gonna feather away from your cardinal. Okay, so we're gonna create a snowdrift or some snow in the sky right behind our cardinal. Get in there with that color. Go up there, just kiss that cardinal. And start to pull some of the snow right around it. Nice and fun, nice snowy area here. It's quite a snowy day. All right, now if as you're working, your color is not carrying well enough for you, you can get a little bit of water on your brush, but not too much, because you don't want those drips, remember, okay? So now as I get in there towards my cardinal, I'm pushing, and you can cut into your shape. So if your cardinal was too large, or you want to crispen up any areas, you can get in there now with your brush, and you can make him adjust his shape a little bit. Now I'm just going to add a few more swipes, just to make it look like the snow is moving. We have those beautiful days where in the winter the snow is blowing and gosh, it's gorgeous. Gets up on the fence, makes everything so pretty, okay? Now next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a little bit of some snow that's falling, all right? So we already added like this background snow over here with our splatters. I'm just gonna adjust my canvas here a little bit just to make sure that we're nice and even. There we go. what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to create these beautiful images of snow. And so you can take some snow on your brush, okay, and you can create a circle. And the way that I make circles is I hold my brush pretty still and I actually just spin it around in place. And you end up with this dot. Now what these dots are going to look like, it's going to look like a beautiful snowball that's out of focus, maybe a little too close to us so it's blurry. As you go over your images here, adding your snow dot or snowball wherever you want, some of your color will start to bleed, like up here in the purple. It might carry a little bit. That's all right, just have fun with it. Rock it out, embrace it. Just spin that brush, automatic circle. Isn't that gorgeous? Now not all of them are the same size. Some of them are a little smaller. Make sure you have some variation here. Spin it in place, a little smaller, smaller there. I don't want to put any really over my cardinal just yet. We're going to actually make that splatter action happen again. I'm going to do it one more time. I'm just having way too much fun with these little circles here. You can add some of them like a little corner of one there on the side of your canvas, like this, like that. Isn't that cool? All right, and so the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna add smaller dots and then a little bit more splatter and we'll be done. All right. So for some smaller dots, what do you gotta do? Smaller brush. So I have my tiny brush here. I wash it off really well, get into that fresh white. Make sure it's fresh white. Sometimes when you're working, your colors start to mix and meld. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to create some dots wherever I want to make them, all over the canvas. Finishing with the tiny brush is so satisfying. You can get in there and add these gorgeous details. You know, I just picked up a little bit of yellow, and look at that yellow against that purple. That's gorgeous. Mix a little bit of yellow in your paint there. Makes it look like maybe a little remnants of the sunset is hitting some of these cute little snowflakes. Make sure you're really random with your placement. Don't forget some here. See, I almost forgot to put them down here by the fence. Nice and thick. Not all the same size. Make sure you're varying your pressure here. And that is so cute. And so we're going to actually finish with a little bit more of that splatter, just to get some of it now on the fence, because we created that splatter and then we made the fence. So we need a little bit here, and if we're really careful, we can put a little bit of it over our gorgeous cardinal, and then we're almost done. All right, so I'm going to grab my larger brush here. Again, making sure it's clean. And I'm going to take a little bit of that, not a lot, just a little bit of that paint here, okay? I'm going to hold it nice and close, and then we're going to start to hit it and create some splatter. Really softly on that cardinal, because once you add it, if it looks weird, you can't really change it. Make sure the area is clean around you. Don't make a total mess. You're going to hate yourself if you do that. Now, acrylic can be picked up pretty easily, though, with some water. Also, Murphy's oil soap works really well. All right. Oh, I'm having so much fun doing this. Oh, my God, look at this. Isn't this cute? All right, so a little bit more up top. Ken's gonna hate me. I got a little bit of paint, Ken, on your wall back there. I'll fix it, I promise. Okay, a little bit more there. And I think this looks pretty good. This is a heck of a good looking painting. I'm really proud of it. I hope you guys are proud of it too. So today we created this awesome cardinal on the snowy fence. We used a variety of techniques. We used a variety of brushes and paints, but mostly all you need is, you know, some paper plates, 4 or 5 colors, a couple of brushes, water, paper towels, and you guys are ready to go. I hope you had a wonderful time, because I did. I have a great time every time I paint. Thank you so much to WOW. Have a wonderful Decemberfest. Have a wonderful holiday or holidays, whatever you celebrate. From me to you, from Artworks to you, from Westfield to you. Have a wonderful day and happy painting.